Hi everyone, welcome back into my channel. If you haven't met me before, hi, my name's Rebecca, it's nice to meet you. I'm Australian, 30-year-old mum. I'm here in Western Australia specifically, so WA represent. It's been a while. You know what, I haven't really had the motivation to film really this month, so I apologise for, a little bit of inconsistency if you've been keeping up with just watching my content in general, so I do apologise, but we're back. We are in a new month, so that means a new reset. So this is definitely going to be a quicker video than the last reset, just because I have a lot more things set up and ready to go. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So my goals pretty much stayed the same for this month. I did add daily meditation throughout the month, hence why it starts halfway through the month. And I've sort of been doing that only because I had a lot of anxiety and panic over this last week, so my mental health has been really taking a hit. So I'm like, alright, go back to what you know and what's comfortable, and that's meditation. So I've been doing a little bit of that on and off. I've kind of gone off of it again because I'm not as in a state, I suppose you would say, but anyway, the rest of the stuff has stayed the same. So as you can see, the beginning of the month, as per usual, I usually do okay. Then I start to fall off and kind of just forget to tick things off as I go. Drink 2 liters of water. I really fell off this month, truly, to be honest. Have not been doing as good, so you know what, live and learn. Morning skincare, I've done pretty well with that, I think. The night skincare definitely needs to be better. Journal daily, yeah, that definitely needs to be better. That's not great. Morning stretches, haven't done anything. I think because my intention was to buy a walking pad, and that actually was one of my monthly goals, but then in my financial goals I was like, actually no, I probably shouldn't do that. It was a good thing that I didn't, hindsight 2020. So yeah, I think I'm actually just gonna scratch the exercise morning stretches, watch me next month buy a walking pad and then have to add it back in. But anyway, for now I'm gonna leave it as is and take it off, just because based on the last 2 months of tracking, I know it's not something that I stick to. It's not something that I'm adding in as my daily habit, so it's just better to remove and add something that is going to be a daily part of my routine. Study, I did do a little bit, but honestly I'm getting really bored of my studies. I don't know what it is. I think it could be the format that who I'm going through uses. I think I'm someone that's very visual, and so it's very plain and simple, and I think I've gotten quite a bit bored of that. Also the content that I'm learning in, as in what I'm actually being taught, in a sense, is getting a bit redundant and a bit boring for me. So I'm really kind of plunging along here. I'm trying to struggle through the studies, and I don't know what that tells me. I don't know if that tells me that I should just drop out, even though I'll lose my money, but it is what it is. Or I've never been one to drop out, so that's why I'm just I should just plunge through it and just do it, just finish it. It might take me a bit longer because the motivation to do it just isn't there as it used to be. I'm just really bored. I'm really bored with it. So I don't know how to fix that, really. Yeah, and also if I do sort of drop out, I don't know where to go from there. No idea. Moving into my weekly goals. So starting off decently strong. I did get a hearing test. The only test that they had was in 2019, so that was the only thing that they could compare it to, and obviously since 2019 to now it's obviously dropped significantly in my hearing in both ears. So that was all that they could go off of. So I did do that. I got my hair done, not that you probably noticed, but that's okay. Checked my ENT appointment. I didn't do that only because, and as you can see, I tried to do it throughout the weeks, but I could not remember who I booked through, and the ENT specialist that I'm now with, he has different clinics in different areas, so I need to buckle down and just ring both clinics and say, hey, am I under your system? Who am I under? I don't know. One of my daughter's bottles, I did do that. A lot of this was just her stuff for my daughter. Contact the school bus service. So for those that don't know, my daughter is high special needs. She's going to a special ed school, and it's an actual proper special education school. It's not just a mainstream that has a special ed department. It's a full special education school. So she started that this month and she's been doing really well. So we're so proud of that. But because I'm legally blind, I can't drive. And my partner doesn't have his license, so we are currently, using my car, and my partner's dad is driving us to take her to and from school. But in future, she will need the bus service, so we are trying to get the bus service to accept her, although they don't usually accept kindy kids. But yeah, and the other reason that they put was that she isn't going to her school district in the area that we live in, but we've since gotten the letter from the school district that we're in that they can't accept her because of her special needs. So literally 15 minutes away, that's the only school that will accept her and has accepted her. So we're still in the process of that, but I just contacted the school / the school bus service to get that ball rolling a bit more. Follow up with NDIS, that has been a whole fucking whirlwind for this month. Oh my god, I swear I need to do a full video on the NDIS and our experience, because now we have to go through the tribunal. If you know what the tribunal is, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's frustrating, and look, this is the first kind of big hurdle that we've had with NDIS, or at least from my own experience. So it is what it is. It is a whole thing, and you know what, I think I will do an entirely separate video for NDIS, because I know it's something that a couple of you have asked about for my journey and my experience in that. So that's something that I will do, so keep an eye out for that. And then book a hearing test. I did call the place, but I left a message. Then they returned my call, and I just haven't gotten around to calling them back to actually book it. So I'm not taking that off because I haven't actually booked it. And again, the check my ENT and book my daughter's hearing test have been a constant thing that I just have been forgetting and have been putting off. And then the last week, EMDR, I did do back to studying. I did do colouring in, didn't do. I've not gone back into colouring in yet. I just haven't really found the motivation to. Again, the hobbies that I want to do, that I know are good for me to get off the screen, I just haven't been feeling the motivation to. Film and upload videos, I have done that. I haven't done as many though. I don't think I've done as much this month, but that's okay. I've still uploaded, I've still filmed a little bit, and I've edited, so. Oh, and here, we've got the do IEP meeting with a school teacher. I was actually the first parent to do it, of her kindy class. I did it as soon as we got the paperwork to fill out, which day and time and all that. So that's done, that's dusted, that's awesome. I still go to my job provider appointment. Yes, so get through the weekend away. I did do it, but with a lot of panic, and that was the weekend just gone. It was a lot. My nervous system is still trying to recover from that weekend, and it wasn't a traumatic weekend, nothing bad was happening. It was just me being away from this place after being cooped up for so long. It took a lot out of my nervous system, so it was a lot, but I got through it. But yeah, I'm definitely, I'm definitely taking it easy. I'm being kind to myself. I'm trying to be kind to myself. I'm just trying to relax and just namaste, namaste through it all. But that's also why I got right back into meditation so quickly and so randomly, because I needed that guidance. I really did. A month ago I was reading more books. I did do that. I did end up buying more credits, and I bought 2 more books. The books that I read. Okay, so the one book that I did finish this month was The Psychology of Money. I didn't really enjoy it. I just wasn't pulled in. I really wasn't. But then the second book I read that I'm fully invested in, and I'm now reading her other 2 books, is She's on the Money by Victoria Devine. She is an Aussie. I believe she was a financial advisor, accredited financial advisor previously, and now she's doing her own podcast and sharing her own financial advice and stuff like that. So I finished that book, and I'm now reading The Money Diaries by the same author, Victoria Devine. Going through different people's money stories and their kind of financial situations and stuff like that. It's really, really interesting. Yeah, so that's super, super fun. So yeah, one really, really good book and good author and good just podcast overall, and then another that I liked the concept of, but I didn't really understand it properly. I just wasn't pulled in as I was hoping to be, whereas She's on the Money, I was definitely pulled into that instantly. I think that was more of what I was expecting concept-wise with the psychology of money. It was still interesting, though there was still some good points in it from memory, but it's not a memorable book for me. But yeah, so I definitely got back into reading, which is good. Back into colouring again. I didn't really go on more dates. We did do that, not outside. Although we did kind of go on a family walk yesterday, which is really lovely. That was kind of a little like spur of the moment thing, which is really nice. But go on more dates, that's been more like inside watching our anime shows, having dinner, usually while our daughter's asleep. But it is what it is. And also, but also like while she's been at school, we've really been enjoying that time together, and also separately too. And then the wellness goals, we've got make healthy foods and continue therapy. Continue to do that, proud of myself for that. And then the financial goal was to buy a walking pad. I ended up not doing that. Stick to budget. I generally did do that. Overall, I think, do that. Generally. There's a few purchases that were kind of unexpected, but kind of needed at that point in time for mental health reasons. And then last one was continue courses, upload 4 times. I do believe I did that. I haven't actually checked, but I do think I did that. Finish medical reception course. I didn't do that just because of the motivation, or lack thereof. Alright, let's move on to March. Okay, here we are in March. I am going to copy some of this but change some of it, so let's see. This is pretty much the same because these are goals that I still really want to work on and build the habit of doing. It's just going to take me a bit, what is the saying? They say it takes 90 days, 60 to 90 days for a habit to stick. So I definitely want to continue working on them. It's not going to be perfect, but so pretty much everything is still the same. The one thing that I did remove, like I kind of said before, was the morning stretches. Just not something that exercise is going to be a habit of mine eventually. I think when I do get the walking pad, I think I'll have more of an intention to, because it's something that is physically there. I spent money on it, but also like I do also want to just get out more and walk a bit more like we did yesterday. So even if I just do that, like a daily walk or something, I'm not going to add it though. I think I'll start adding it when I actually start doing it a lot more. Okay, what do I want to achieve this week? Let's see. I was actually going to put that I needed to book my daughter's hearing test with Hearing Australia, but she actually has, with her children's hospital, she actually has an audiology appointment coming up this month. So I actually think I'm going to leave that there and just go to that one instead. I think I want to go for at least one walk. Family walk / outing, I suppose, is another one. I really want to try and get out more and get out of my comfort zone and start getting back to the person that I used to be, because for those that don't know as well, if you knew, not only am I legally blind, but I also have a chronic condition called Meniere's disease, which is hearing loss, most notably in my left ear, but it's also severe vertigo and just other really debilitating symptoms. And I've really developed a form of agoraphobia, or just an intense fear and phobia of just like going out and going to places and things like that. That's something that I'm working on in EMDR therapy, but it is something that I'm slowly trying to work on, something I want to build this year, build confidence in myself again. So let's start with that. Take it nice and slow. Don't put too much pressure on myself. I can do it. Even if it's just down the road again, that's fine. I kind of think that's it. I don't, in my head, I don't really have any other goals that I can think of for the week, so I'm going to leave it there. Okay, I just remembered something else. My daughter's birthday's coming up, and we have other birthdays coming up, so I need to organise what to do with that. I don't think we're going to do anything big. We don't usually. I think her first birthday was probably the biggest one for us so far, and she's turning 4, so like we just do little family get-togethers, and that's kind of it. I think when she gets older and she starts to be able to express what she wants and what she likes, in her own communication way, I think that's where we'll start to do things that she actually wants to do. So, but for now, I need to organise that. Okay, so going through the monthly goals, read more books, get back into colouring. So it's pretty much the same, because these are the habits I still want to get into. It's just whether I'm a bit more financially restrained in that, or it's just timing, exercise. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna take that off. And then wellness goals: drink more water, make healthy foods, continue therapy. pretty self-explanatory. Financial, stick to budget, and application for new photo ID. My photo ID is actually due to run out in May of this year, I believe. Plus, it actually has my previous legal name on it, which I've had a new legal name for, oh gosh, I think nearly 2 years now. And the same thing, well, I'll get into it with the budget, but I am going to have to start saving up for a new passport. Career goals, YouTube course. Thoughts? I don't know. Whether that's through like Skillshare, because I've gone on and off with Skillshare, or whether that's trying to find like an actual Australian standard accredited, I don't know if there is something like that for YouTube, because the social media one that I'm doing at the moment doesn't have YouTube on it. It pretty much has all the other social media platforms on there but YouTube, which is a little frustrating because that's mainly my focus is YouTube, but it's also good to have, you know, the other platforms as well. So I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm going to research into it and kind of see where I come up with. I'm going to try and finish my my social media course and continue with the medical reception course, because that is the bigger course. I'm probably about nearly halfway through at the moment, and then look for jobs as well. But yeah, that's going to be it for March goal setting. So let's move into financial. Okay, we've made it to February, so ignore this part. I'll get to that. So my mantra of the month of I am worthy of financial success. That still very much holds true, especially with the books that I'm reading as well. I definitely feel no matter what income you earn, you are worthy of financial success. And I think I said this last month as well when I put it in, that financial success means different things to different people. For me, it means the sense of stability in not necessarily the amount that I earn, or that I am entitled to, I should say, with Centrelink, but it's what I do with that and the intention that I put into money. And, you know, I want to try and use money more of a tool and not as something to spend and waste and whatever. So, yeah. So let's go through all of that. Okay, so this definitely helped, the color coding for which, you know, paycheck goes into which category for that paycheck. So doing the monthly budget is a little tricky for me, but I'm trying to manage it the best I can. So again, got my standard amount of $1,210.40 per fortnight. I also got a rebate of $72.42. That was for Synergy, which, if you don't know, Synergy is just an electricity company here, and I have not been with Synergy since I moved here. So I don't know how or why, but they must have been auditing everybody's accounts, everybody's closed accounts, I would assume. And since my account's been closed for like years, apparently they owed me money. So that was nice. That was a really big, nice surprise. Selling, I got my $41.08 from eBay finally. I've been waiting for that for like 2 months. So I finally got that. And then the $300 was for the incident last month where my partner's dad, I had to pay for the electrician to come and fix our power, but I had to put a deposit. I was the only one that had any sort of savings at that time, so I got that reimbursed. And then the $39, that was for something that I can't remember what that was. So that was that. That was my sort of income for the month. Moving down to emergency fund, I set aside to put $713. I set aside $713. That was good. EMDI, I actually had $98.95 in there now, so that's nice. Okay, so as you can see, the first paycheck is like the lighter color, and then the second paycheck is the darker. So most of my stuff came out on the second. The only thing that I did change was the Audible. I know I had budgeted originally for $50, but I ended up changing that, and then I ended up going back onto that. But I lowered the monthly amount, and then I ended up spending anyway, so it's what it is. The other part is the Aura meditation. I have been with Calm, the app Calm, for years and years and years, but they are just getting way too expensive. So I decided to go with a different company now, and they're great so far. And I decided to do a yearly thing, just test it out for a year, see how we go. And then moving on to groceries, $61 over in groceries, that's fine. Rent's fine, fuel is fine. I didn't use the $20 in transport. And then therapy, this is where it gets kind of interesting. So I usually do 2 sessions a fortnight, that's fine. I went for my first session. My therapist was 15 minutes late. So what she did was she halved my cost for that session, and then I still got the rebate back, the full rebate back for that session, but then we also added another session for like a few days later. That was a fully paid session, so I only ended up being like $20 out of pocket that I had to pay for because I still had the other half from that session plus the $98 reimbursement, so I was only $20 out, so that's fine, plus I had my regular second session for the month. So that's why it was $650 for the month. Is what it is. I got extra therapy out of it. I'm fine. I'm okay with that. Shopping, there was 92 I budgeted, 97 I had to spend. That's been more the last week, so I'll go through that. But otherwise I stuck to that. Proud of myself for that. Got my hair done. That was fine. And my daughter put 150, and there's $68.50 left. I did invest, yay me, yay for investments, yay for improving my financial future. I do micro investing, just for those wondering, through Pearler at the moment, and I'm only doing $100 a fortnight, or a month, sorry. I will eventually increase that, but you know, I just want to touch base on the shopping. So $34 went to the extra credit, for the Audible credit, so I could get more books for the month, and this is where the extra shopping came out of. So I spent $89 because the first night that we were away, I had my headset on the floor for some reason, I don't know why, and my partner stood on it and it broke, so I ended up having to buy a new headset because it is a sensory thing for me that I need, especially when I'm having a lot of panic and there's a lot of noise. I need that quiet, so I ended up buying that. That's kind of a necessity for me. And then when we got home, because I brought my Switch 2 with me, I left the USB-A adapter, I think it is, so I ended up having to buy a new one, because I thought we had one, but we didn't, and they're expensive. So here is where the interesting part comes in. It was kind of nearly 50-50. I actually did a little bit more impulse spending, I think because of the last, like, 3 transactions that I did were impulse. So yeah, but otherwise I did mostly intentional, which is good. Well, not mostly, but you know what I mean. Aside from those last 3 things, I have a lot of intention with my money, which is good. I'm definitely getting better. Even the impulse purchases I was very intentional with. Even like, I could have very easily put them as intentional, but I was like, no, this is an unexpected thing to have and like to spend on. So it's still an impulse spend, even though I still intentionally bought it because it was like, I do need these things for mentally, like my mental health, because gaming for me is such a, it's very much a therapeutic thing for me. And then thankfully, yay, my most 5 places that my money goes to is my emergency funds. That's great. I did have just over 1,000. Now because of the extra spending and stuff I've had to do, I had to take that out. So I've got $850 in my emergency funds at the moment. And then therapy. So my two most common things that I want to work on, like intentionally, and where my mindset is, it's clearly reflecting in my money and in where my money goes and what my intentions are with that. So I'm proud of myself for that. Even though it's small, I'm chipping away at them, so that's really good. I'm proud of myself for that. Okay, so March is going to be a little bit different because I've already set this out, because it's just something that I just keep going back and forwards. So this is all still the same. I can believe I've got my money mantra for the month. So this month is never spend money before you have it, unless emergency in brackets, because obviously that's different. But yes, very much setting the intention of line items and really utilizing that. Okay, so again, we're going to go with the color coding. So the lighter pink is, or lighter beige, or whatever color you want to call it, that's for my first paycheck, and then the darker kind of color is my second paycheck. So, and I've also on my phone here, I've also, like, I've done it both ways. So I've written it out in this format, and I've also written it out in text on here, so that I don't have to come back in here every time to remember what is going where. So something that I do have to set aside for is April 1st, my quarterly for my extras insurance comes out. So this month in March, I'm setting aside the right amount per fortnight to make up that amount. So we've still got, YouTube Premium. I ended up cancelling the membership that I had. I will go back and forth, but last month I just wasn't watching as much, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take off a month, see how I go. But I'm still paying YouTube Premium, as I still use that all the time. Same with Upbeat, and same with Audible. And then the Aura, I don't need to pay that till next year. And then fuel, I'm actually going to bump that up to $60, so $30 per fortnight into fuel. Since, you know, we are having to take my daughter to and from school often. My partner and I both put 30 in, so it's essentially $60 a fortnight that we're putting into fuel, just so we definitely have enough. $0 for takeaway. Again, we are 2 for 2 for the year of 2026 for no bought takeaway. I've still had takeaway. I think for this year I've had takeaway on 4 occasions, I believe. None of them I bought myself, so I'm really proud of myself for that. No takeaway. Hopefully I can do month 3 for 3. We'll see. Medications $130, home $42, just to have that there. Therapy $505, that stayed the same. So 50 for clothes, gifts $50, shopping $50, and then my daughter $150. That includes school stuff and her birthday stuff. Games, nothing. So yeah, it's pretty much very same. Like I'm finding my money habits to be a bit boring, and I think that's the point. And then Perla, $100. I do eventually want to increase this to $200, and I think I was actually going to increase this to $200 this month, but then I remembered my quarterly insurance, so you know, maybe next month. And next month, actually for April, let's check. Next month for April, I believe, yes. So next month for April is actually a 3 paycheck month, so that'll be good. And then savings, I want to do $300 into savings to get over the $1,000 mark at least, or maybe even $1,200. If I can put more in, that's great. But this is kind of where I'm at for the moment. And then car funds, I want to be able to save up enough until when it's due, because my rego is due in June, like early June. So I want to be able to have the amount saved up by May. $500 for a year for my rego for my car. So I split that up into the amount of payments that I get. That's how much I have to set aside per month for, you know, to reach that goal. So that's where that's kind of where I'm at. And then next month, again, I originally was going to do the same for Christmas funds, to have by June, July the amount set aside for Christmas. But because of the thing up here, kind of have to change course a little bit, but that's okay. Is what it is. But we'll change course for next month. But that's where I'm at with savings and with budgets, and that's it. Something else that I forgot to add, that's actually really, really exciting. I forgot to add it into gaming, because next month Life is Strange Reunion comes out. So I've been such a big Life is Strange fan for such a long time. Max and Chloe, oh, love them. Yes, I do think it's canon that they end up together as a romantic couple. So my heart was absolutely shattered in Double Exposure. I do have, like, I used to do gaming on this channel, and I did play through Double Exposure on the channel. Very disappointed. Completely forgot to put that in the budget. So I put it in now. I've changed clothing, I've lowered that, and I've just gotten rid of home stuff as well. Okay, that's going to be it for my March reset. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you're all doing well and staying safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!